南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。The Dhamma, infinitely profound and subtle, is rarely encountered even in a million kalpas. Now we are able to hear, to study, and to practice. May we fully understand and realize the Tathagata's true teachings. How is everybody? I want to share with you some of my past week's experience, past week's traveling. I was in Hong Kong, as you know. So last week, after the Dhamma sharing, I flew off. I took off to Hong Kong. I stayed there for 3 days. You know, managing all these little nitty-gritty things. Then I flew back and I got back to Vancouver on Saturday night. Didn't come back to sleep here because I only had a few hours before I took off again to Saskatchewan. I flew off to Saskatchewan on Sunday and arrived in Saskatoon on Sunday afternoon, and then I had a free afternoon. We went to have a lunch, and then we went to bookstore, and then it was so fun. It was so relaxed. I said, "Oh, I needed to go shopping." And we went shopping. I bought a couple of books on near-death experience, which that is I'm very interested in that topic. Then the next day, we went up to Prince Albert. Prince Albert is that north of Saskatoon? Northeast, I think. Yeah, northeast of Saskatoon. Huh? It is in Saskatoon.
Northeast of Saskatoon.
Yeah, I think so. Northeast of Saskatoon. It's a very little town, but with a big prison. And so we went into the medium prison in the morning, and also I think I don't know whether that was the medium or the minimum prison. We were supposed to go into the maximum prison, but nobody wants to see a Buddha's nun in the maximum prison. So there was no meditation there in the maximum prison. But we did go into the medium prisons. The first one we went in, we had 20 guys to start off. And then I think 6 left in the middle or during the break and never returned. So we ended up with 14. But it was a good session, at least. And then we had 2 chaplains. One was Protestant and one was a Catholic. So they were called deacons, right? So we have 2 deacons. So then that was a good morning. I think we started at 9:30 till 11:30. Then we had a short lunch. We went to Subway, veggie sandwich. Then in the afternoon we went back into that prison, same prison, but another range. That range we had, I think we had 16 guys came in. Oh, morning we had 20 guys came in and 16 stayed behind. In the afternoon we had 16 guys came in and 14 stayed behind. So altogether it was 30 on that day. But in the afternoon it was very interesting. It was actually a different atmosphere and a different sort of group of people, very different. The second group was really very earnest, very diligent, and very attentive. And we brought them books. We bought some books, The Heart of the Buddha's Teachings by Thich Nhat Hanh, and the little Dhammapada that we were using to study. And then, of course, the way to home to promote myself, right? But the second group in the afternoon, they were waiting because they knew that I said I brought some books and so for you to share. They were waiting at the end of the meditation. And the chaplain was so kind. he signed it out right away for them to take back to the cell to read and then return later on. But the morning one didn't do it. Also, I don't know how they're going to distribute those books out. But the afternoon one, they were eager. And then there was a guy asked me for my address. So and then there was a guy who came the second session. I had 2 sitting meditations and 2 standing meditations. So there was another guy who came and he said, I'm so lucky because I'm going to be out by tomorrow. Yeah. He said, and you came in today. I am so lucky. I'm so fortunate. And he said, I needed to copy down your address. I'm going to write you. I'm going to get your book and I'm going to study it. I said, oh, where is home? That's a very general question. If they are going out, and I will ask, where is home? He said, busy. But I've got a daughter in Manitoba that I might go and visit her. I've been in here 40 years. 40. And my heart sunk. My heart really sank because it's going to be tough. It's really going to be tough. I said, 40 years. He said, yeah, 40 years. I said, then the little mindfulness that you have learned today, I hope you can use it, And he said, don't worry, sister, don't worry. Don't worry, I will contact you. It's as if I'm the savior. I said to myself quietly and silently, you have to save yourself. So I sent him metta when I heard that. So that was a really, really encouraging story. I mean, at least, somebody got the wholesome karma. And no matter where he is, he's going to take that seed somewhere, somehow. Just one day and half an hour, because he had to go and see the warden. He was supposed to be at the meditation at 1:30, right? But he had an appointment with the warden at 1:30. So he came at 20 past. He said, I needed to go to see the warden, but please let me in for the second session. So it's not like the chapel that at RTC. The chapel over there is on the upstairs, no windows. And it was so stuffy. It was 30 degrees. And then they had a upstairs. So they had a big wire, the big metal door that can be only unlocked by a guard. So once we get up to the chapel, we are locked in. We're locked in. So if we want to go down, when we have the buzz, we have to go out, we have the buzz. And then if there is nobody, we have the buzz again. And then boom, 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 boom. Pound on the metal door until they hear us. That's what the chaplain told me. If you want to get out, you need to buzz and then pound so that they can hear. I said, okay. I wish I don't have to do that. So RTC, you can walk in and out, right? They don't lock you in. So that guy came in for the second session when we started a standing meditation and then the sitting meditation. He was so happy. He was so happy. You could see his eyes were really glowing. The whole face was glowing. I said, are you going to be out really tomorrow? Well, by tomorrow I'll know. It's true. They won't know. They won't know until that day. Even or if they go on a parole, if they transfer from a max to a medium or from a medium to another prison, they wouldn't know. They will know somehow, someday, maybe in June, maybe in July, don't know. Then that day they'll call you. Hey, so-and-so come. Then they probably go into the warden's office or go to the IPO, the parole office, and then will say, pack your bags, we're going. So we never know when would they go. So he said, I don't know. But no matter where he is now, at least I have established a connection with him. The Dhamma has established a connection with him. So that was the whole day. By the time we got back to Saskatoon, oh no, after that, after the afternoon session, I said to Eva, can we go and have some ice cream, please? He said, yes, I think so too. Sister Sifu, I wanted ice cream. Can we try to find a DQ? So you saw on my Facebook, Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen should pay me some ads, pay me for some ads. I keep promoting Dairy Queen in my Dhamma sharing. But anyway, so by the time we got back to Saskatoon, it was night. It was 8 o'clock at night. It was a long night, long day. So the next day we went in to see Mr. T, Gary, in TEDx talk. Yeah. He had put on a little bit of weight, got a little bit of tummy. I said, He said, the food here is too good. I said, well, there's too much craving there. He said, yeah. And I think probably there is some effects of the medications that he's on. But he was pleased. He was very good to see us. He was very happy to see us. And of course, we were very happy to see him. And he told us that he has been meditating since we last visited him in November. He said, I've been meditating twice a day, but sometimes it's not quite meditation, it's power meditation. I said, what is the power meditation? He said, deep breath for 15 minutes, and the whole mind started to quiet down. And so I said, did that work? He said, oh yeah, oh yes, sister, I have been staying out of trouble. And he said, none of my business is always lurking around in my head. Whenever I get so upset and so angry with people or with guards or with everything, and I just look at them and say, it's none of my business. Come on, go away. Then he walked away, or he just stood there and not reacting. He said, for me, I've never been like that in my whole life. He's now, I think he's 56 something, 55, 56. He said, I've never been like that, so calm and feeling so peaceful in his whole life. So we had a long talk that for an hour or so. Then I was asked to go and see another inmate who claimed himself to be a Buddhist. So, but it was difficult to talk to him in the range, so they allow us to escort him back to the chapel. So we all sat together. And it was surprising to see how Mr. T, Gary, actually talked to the inmate, asked him to sort of start meditating. He said, you will get the benefits you never imagined. And so I encourage Mr. T, Gary, to actually start a group sitting with my CD. We brought a CD into the prison too and left it with the chaplain. And so he said, I will try. He said, there might be nobody who comes. I said, doesn't matter. I said, remember at RTC, sometimes it's just you and me. He said, yes, I remember. I said, so it's okay. You and my tape, it still works, He said, yeah, okay, I'll try to work it out. So after a short lunch, we went back, and then we had another meditation. It was in the gym. It was a big gym, basketball court, yeah? And it was 30 degrees, 30-some degrees. The gym was in the basement, no windows. And the big fan like that. I said, oh, I need to scream. And then there was an elder. There was an elder actually who works in the prison. There was a chaplain. And there were 6 staffs and 14 offenders. But I had to scream. I couldn't hear. They couldn't hear me. So eventually the elder said, maybe we should give you a mic. Good thing they gave me a mic. But in the gym, the vibration was very different. It was very like, what is it called? Volatile? Like burning, like continuously burning. Volatile, and sort of like a lot of really jumpy vibrations. But I could see why they wanted us to be in the gym. And because I look at the group, I said, oh gosh, I'm going to have problem this time. I don't know how to teach them meditation. This is the second most challenged group I have. The first challenge group I had was in Hong Kong with social workers. I think I have 50 social workers, frontline social workers. Within 5 minutes, most of them have fallen asleep. And no matter how much I rang the gong, they were still really enjoying that nice, quiet, dark, dim environment with my soft voice, like a hypnosis. And eventually I had to teach them standing meditation. And one actually fell into the chair, even with standing meditation. How tired they were. That was difficult. That was many years ago, but this one is another group. I think they all have certain kind of mental disorders, and probably they are on heavy medications. So the attention span is very, very short. And it's very difficult to actually close their eyes because so much fear and so much insecurity. And ever said that there was one guy who was trying to close his eyes with a count of maybe 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then he opened and he stared at us and then he closed again. He tried 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He opened. So he constantly opened and closed, opened and closed. And there was one guy, I think he actually looked at me throughout the whole session because I opened up my eyes and looked, and he was staring at me, and I look around and I look at him, he stared at me, and I look around and I look at him, he stared at me. So I think there was a lot of fear and insecurity, was afraid to close their eyes. And almost 80% were Aboriginals, First Nations. And we had about 16 to start off. And how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 remained. And Mr. T was the one sitting right in front of me. He was the most stable and continuously had his eye closed. It was very, very sad to see that. But a good thing that they are in a treatment center, which was a little bit better. And then after that, the elder actually took us to the Aboriginal place, which was, according to Eva, was an honor to, because they seldom open up the main praying hall, the main praying area where they have a big carpet. Versha, you probably know. Do you know anything about First Nation thing? Yeah, they have a big carpet, and then with all the 4 directions. Yeah. And I said, wow, that would be nice to meditate on. And the elder said, next time maybe. I said, oh, good, because it's so quiet and so cool in there. But eventually, and then it's so strange. The boss of that Aboriginal place came out with a cell phone. He said, I take a picture for you guys. I thought, oh, yeah, sure. And even Mr. T was in the picture. Yeah, and then he said, you stand aside and then let me take a picture just of these people. So it was very nice to actually, in that afternoon, I get to know the elder, and the elder said, I'll work something out with the chaplain and see if we can actually allow the guys to do a regular weekly group sitting, so that next time when you come back, they will be more matured. So that was great. And on the Monday, and the 2 chaplains said, they said, oh, I hope we will see you again if you could come back every 2 months. I said, wow, that's a good offering. And one chaplain, the morning one, said, I hope the door is not closed after you left here. I said, I hope your door is always open for me to come. He said, oh, definitely. So, it's nice to actually do that. And on the way back, actually, I sat in the plane on the plane, and later on I talked to Eva and KS. I said, you know what? I'm so grateful to Mr. T, to Gary. Without him, I won't be going to Saskatoon. I won't bring the Dhamma to Saskatchewan. The Dhamma won't flow east from the west without him. So he's there for a reason. No wonder why I urged him to go to Saskatoon at that time when he was down in RTC. So I'm forever grateful, really, for him to be in there, so that we actually went to visit him and bring out this whole thing of Dhamma teaching in the 3 prisons in Saskatchewan. Now, I never thought about that. I never thought that was possible, but it is. So that is my little story of my wonderful weekend and the beginning of the week with you guys. Yeah, so, okay. So let us come back to the 42 chapters. I think we did this. Oh, okay. I think we finished it is here, difficult to renounce life when facing death, didn't we? Last time. Did we start on this? Because I didn't mark it last time after I finished. Is it difficult to encounter the Buddhist sutras? Did we start on that? No, at all. Okay, great. Okay, so we should actually take these two together. It is difficult to be born in the time of a Buddha, or at the time of a Buddha, or during the time when there is a Buddha. Okay, we could take these two together. And all right, and then it is difficult to subdue desire and lust, and it's difficult not to covet what one likes. Okay, sorry about this. Okay, let us take these two passages together. It is difficult to encounter the Buddha's teachings and also to be born at the time when there is a Buddha. Would you agree with that? But it's not quite difficult for you guys. No, right? I mean, at least this lifetime you encounter the Buddha's teachings, right? Of course, nowadays I shouldn't say it is not it is easy. I should say it is actually very easy for one to actually to make contact with the Buddha's teachings because of the advanced technology, right? You just have to, if you are interested, you just type in the word Buddha, and then you have the whole list of explanations of Buddha. And if you say, dependent origination, a whole so many articles that tell you the meaning of dependent originations. Yes, it is not difficult on the surface, but what he means here is actually not difficult to encounter the Buddha's teachings, the Buddha and his teachings, but it's difficult to actually put it into practice. That's the main thing. It's not just studying here, because studying is just pariyati, right? It's just hearing and studying. But in order to reap the benefits, you have to practice in order to really reap the benefits. Otherwise, you will be just a scholar and not a practitioner. And it's a huge difference between a scholar and a practitioner. As I always say, an Olympic swimming coach can only coach the athletes. And the one who get the medal is the one who practice, right? So a swim coach may be excel in his coaching, but he may not have a gold medal, right? So, but for an athlete to be a coach is also, he may not be a good coach because he knows how to swim. He may not know how to coach unless he become more experienced. Yeah, he's exposed to more athletes, he's exposed to more, swimming techniques or whatever, then he may be a good coach. But even though he is experienced, but in order to teach, in order to be able to teach and pass on the knowledge and pass on the practice, it still takes some good karma. Yeah. So even though it is so easily accessible with advanced technology, but a lot of times, firstly, it is difficult because people think that it is not necessary to practice. My life is good enough. Why do I need to practice? Right? I mean, you guys' life is not too bad, right? Not too bad, right? That's the typical answer of Jaren. Now it's not too bad. Yeah, but who knows, right? It's ever changing. And also, and a lot of times people think that they can study on their own by reading, and they don't. As long as I know, as long as I have all these knowledges, I'll be fine. I'll be good. I'll be okay. But pariyatti theory, theoretical and practical, is way, way apart, right? People think that, oh yeah, it's so nice, so easy to meditate. Yeah, once you cross your legs and you sit down and you think it's easy to subdue that mind, it's really not easy at all, right? So some people I think we talked about this before. In the West, some people are, I know the Westerners, they read a lot. They're very curious, and they are very eager to learn. They study, but they seldom go to practice. And that's the one drawback. They think that they can practice on their own. Maybe they can, but I find that the group practice is more powerful, and it's really more beneficial. So at the time of the Buddha, so many people were around, but not everybody think that the Buddha was a Buddha. And not everybody think that the Buddha was worthwhile to be a teacher. And that's why not everybody tried to listen to him. And in the Mahayana Sutra, there is a sutra called the Lotus Sutra, which is a wonderful sutra. And in one of the chapter, the Buddha was going to teach, and there was a huge congregation of monks and householder. And during the middle of his teaching, 500 monks got up and left. I'm so glad that you guys didn't get up and leave me, 500 monks among the whole congregation. And the Buddha still continued to teach. And at the end of the teaching, the bhikkhus asked the Buddha, why did you not stop them? Why did you let them go? They are losing, such a precious teaching. And you know what the Buddha said? If you were the Buddha, what would you say? Yeah, the seed is not ripened. It's not the time. And you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Yeah, very good. You can lead the horse to the water, but you cannot make him drink. Very good. Any more? I think that's the best answer. You agree with Jaren? Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you can lead the horse to a river, to water, but you cannot force him to drink. And if they do not have those karma, good karma, that means the seeds, even though the Buddha was right in front of them, they did not see him. They did not appreciate him, right? So you cannot force anybody to do anything that they don't feel like to do, or they don't want to do, or they don't feel important to do. So the Buddha said, yeah, I cannot force them because it's not me to push them away. It's their own karma that pushed them away from the Dhamma. So I remember when we first came here, and Sifu, our Sifu actually told us, gave us some little teachings. He said, we set up so many rules, strict rules. And you know what? Sifu looked at it. Sifu read them and Sifu smiled. You know what he said? He said, yeah, you set up a very strict and stringent rules, but when you have to practice them, you have to let it loose. You have to be loose. You know what you have to be flexible. Okay, you cannot be so strict. And that's why in the beginning, in the first few years, we were so strict on the rules, so we scare everybody away. We still scare people away in a different sense, but when at that time when some people left or some nuns left, I once asked Sifu. I said, Sifu, they left. Was it because of my mistakes? Was it because of my thing? Sifu said, Tolam store is always open. Anybody can walk through it, going out or coming in. If they decide to go out, it's their karma. If they decide to come in, it's their karma. And I said, karma. It's such a nice thing to actually put everything onto karma. It's my karma. That's why I walk out from here. It's my karma. That's why I come in here. It's easy to say that. It's easy to laugh at it. But when one is in a very afflictive mode, one doesn't have that clear mind to actually check themselves out. Is it my own karma that actually pushed me out of this door and go out into that world, or go out and leave this place? I kept thinking about that, in the last 20 years. I still couldn't find an answer. Of course, I wouldn't be able to find an answer. But, sometimes I regret it for some of those people who left here, because they could be good practitioners. But it's just that they were drowned by their own afflictions. They were drowned by their own. Why do you have that smile there?
My mind was wandering.
Oh, right. Okay. So you didn't hear what I said.
No. Very honest practitioner.
Very good. I'm so glad that we've got so honest young people here. Yeah. But geez, I should have looked at you. You made me forget. But I kept reflecting on my own. I said, sometimes I felt it's so difficult here. But I never thought that to leave. I never thought to leave, because I promised my Sifu. And gradually I knew that wasn't the promise to my Sifu. It's a promise to my own self. My path. I promise that I will walk on this path, no matter how difficult it is. So I never thought of packing my bags and go, no matter how difficult it is. I mean, sometimes it is very difficult. Yeah. With people, with situations, with money, financial, with everything is so difficult. And I'm just a human being, and I'm a little teacher. I'm not a big teacher. So sometimes I would, Then next morning I got up, start over, all over again, start again. So, but I'm so glad that I had that great teaching from my Sifu, is that the door is always open. You're welcome to come in, you're welcome to go, but please don't go with an afflictive mode. Please don't go with anger. please don't go with guilt. Go with joy. If you choose to go with joy, and because only joy will lead you to a bright path. If you are in a guilty mode, if you are in a angry mode, then you will take on the dark path. Because whatever your thought is whatever it will lead you to, right? So we all experience that in our meditation. So it's actually staying in a place for 21 years is really not easy. Not easy. And I'm glad that I stay, because it built me up. It made me a stronger practitioner, really. And this is the place where actually I stay the second longest, except home. Okay, home I stayed 17 years, and then 8 years, 25 years. So this is 21 years. Where did I stay the rest? In England and studying, So that's why I call this is home. This is home. And it's not easy sometimes. But why do you think it's not easy? Because your eyes keep looking outside, your ears keep there, and your mind keeps judging. So that is what makes it difficult. And if we stop doing that and we keep bringing ourselves back to reflect on ourselves, that makes it easier. That makes you stronger to stay on, to keep on the path. No path is easy, I tell you. Everywhere is storm. One old monk in Taiwan, I told you about him, hunchback. Remember him? He fell off the cliff because he kept dozing off during meditation. He sat next to a cliff and he said, I will see what you are. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not record. Sorry.
And I looked, I thought the button was on.
0000000. Never mind. There's recording there. And remember the old monk kept dozing off, and he decided to put himself next to the cliff and meditating and said, how? I will see how you doze off. You doze off, you fall into the cliff. And he fell. He broke his back. Right? Remember that monk? He once said to his students, who kept coming and going, he said to them, there is a Chinese saying, 天下楊梅到咩到處咩到處楊梅一樣花。楊梅 is some kind of plum. He said, everywhere in the world, the plum flower is the same. The plum flower is the same. That means no matter how hard you try to find a place you call a good place to practice, everywhere is the same. Because everywhere is made up with what? Human beings like you and me. If you leave this place, huh? Yeah, the problem is not the place. You and me, and in the other place, you will find the same you and me. In other place, you'll find the same you and me. The problem is not the people. The problem is our mind. So he said, no matter how you exhausted all your energy trying to walk through all four corners in the world, you will not find a place that is so-called the best place or a good place for your practice. A good place for your practice is the more challenges. That is a good place. Is that why I'm in Chilliwack? Yeah, constantly with challenges. Yeah, but anyway, so it's actually difficult to actually practice the teachings. It's really not easy. Okay, so encountering the teaching is really once in a million lifetimes things, especially in the West. And seeing a Buddha, even though that we don't see a real Buddha, a live Buddha right now, at least we see a statue actually depicting the Buddha. Okay, at least it reminds us the qualities of a Buddha. Yeah, when we see the statue, we are reminded of the qualities that we want to cultivate, similar to his or similar to the Bodhisattva. And that is a reminder. We constantly have this opportunity to be reminded of, which is a blessing, a real blessing. Okay, and in one of the very famous Chinese Mahayana Sutra is that it says if you continuously seeing a Buddha, you continuously contemplating on the Buddha, on the image of a Buddha, or you constantly remembering the Buddha and be grateful to the Buddha, you eventually will become a Buddha yourself. If you continuously seeing a dog and remembering a dog and contemplating on a dog or whatever, then eventually you become a dog. Because why? You're constantly putting those images into your mind. It's like an imprint on your mind. Whatever that you see with your eyes, hear with your ears, is some messages onto the mind, the mental field, and it's a seed on the mental field. You see, so the more you remember certain thing, the more seeds you're planting onto that field. So you can choose to remember a Buddha, or you can choose to remember a dog or a hawk or a stellar jay or whatever. Okay, so it's up to us. And you see, it's summertime. Look, we have so much space here today. It's only 2 men and how many women? 11 women? Yeah, 11 women. Where is everybody? Summer holiday. Summer holiday is more important. And other things is more important. So that's why it's difficult to be born to actually encounter the Buddha and his teachings, and difficult actually to put it into practice. Because once you actually commit yourself to such a practice, you will not give up so easily. Yeah. And difficult to be born at the time of a Buddha. Of course, how many, the second Muni Buddha, before him, there were only 4 Buddha. So then the next one to come is Maitreya. How many kalpas to come? Eons of life before we actually will see another Buddha to come into a human world. Eons of life. So we are lucky. At least he was only like 2,600 years away. That's all. We can still hear his teachings. But you see, the teachings that we hear nowadays is almost like 2/3 of what they had, or even less than 2/3. Can you imagine with like a kalpa later on, or how many billion years later on, how much that would be left? We can look at the river, look at the glacier. The glacier is the most obvious. How much glacier we have now compared to 20 years ago, to 40 years ago. You can see how much the teaching will be gone in eons to life, in years to come. Okay, so we are a whole bunch of fortunate beings. So, treasure that opportunity. All right. Okay, and the next one is it difficult to subdue the desire and the lust? When this is not the best actually translation. I actually compare the parallel Chinese and the English. It is difficult to subdue desire and lust. Desire and lust seems to be similar. Yeah. Right? No, Marie? Yeah, I think it's similar. But here actually in the Chinese parallel, it actually said it's desire. It's difficult to subdue desire and also the existence of a material form. Material form in a sense of many things. The material form in a sense of the 5 aggregates. The first one of the 5 aggregates, the physical existence, this body. That is one of the material form. Okay, it's very difficult to subdue this. You agree? Yeah, right? And the material form also in the form of what? In the form of external physical phenomena, like the form, the sound, the colors, yeah, the smell. No, not really. Any form that you actually is tangible and perceivable, yeah. So form and colors and shapes, yeah. And so these are corresponding to our senses, yeah, to our visuals and the audio and the taste and the smell and the touch. And then the next one, the external physical phenomena. Actually, they said that it's actually included the taste and the smell. And the third would be the colors and the shapes and the forms. And then the fourth one is the animate and the inanimate. The animate beings, that means human beings, celestial beings, arahats. And the inanimate is the trees, the mountains, the river is called inanimate. And he said it's difficult to subdue desire and lust. If we want to say it's difficult to subdue desire and the material form in the form of the five aggregates and in the form of the external physical phenomena and also in the form of colors and shapes, it's very difficult to subdue this. What does it mean by subdue? Craving, reacting, attachment, yeah. So that means difficult to actually remove those attachment, remove those craving, right? So why do you think it is so difficult?
Because we don't understand the real nature.
Yeah, we don't understand the real nature of this existence. Okay, first one. Huh? Sensual pleasure. Yeah, okay. Because of the senses, yeah. Impermanence, because we don't understand they are impermanent. That's why it's difficult to subdue. And also, we reinforce what? The habits, yeah, by reacting, constantly reacting, yeah. And so it's difficult to subdue. And also, when we are so ignorant, not just not understanding the nature of existence, but we are so ignorant that the sensual pleasures and all these forms, all these shapes are so important, and this body is so important. Like when we talk about the death, we thought that this body is so important. That's why when we are dying or when we are at the last breath, we don't want to let go of this body because we think that it belongs to us. We think that this is going to be permanent, right? Because there's so much ignorance in it. So it's very difficult to actually subdue this desire and this lust. Because and also, a lot of times we do expect things to happen. Okay, if I cut down of my weight, then I will have better health. We do expect that. So when we cut down on our weight, and if our health still not working, then we start to get what? Mad. And then if we get mad, then we probably will forget it. I'm not going to cut down on my weight. I'm going to keep eating. We give up easily because we are so ignorant. Yeah. So in order to subdue is actually not easy, but subduing is actually not trying to control or to suppress. It's trying to see what is the real picture and see how we can actually work out a better way to deal with this picture. Not just wanting the picture to be like this. But we actually have to take ways, have to take our efforts to actually to work it out. If we are used just to observe, then we won't be so easily fall into a controlling or a suppression mode if we just start to observe objectively. Before we learn meditation, remember in those old days when we sat there and fidgeting, so much pain, because we want to try to control the pain and make the pain to go away. But instead, we start to actually observe it, and we start to understand the existence of the pain, the nature of the existence of the pain. And also start to actually understand how my mind is actually reacting to the pain. And you start to say, okay, I'm not going to die here. If I'm dying here on my meditation mat, Sister Jessie said it's the best way to die. In the meditation hall with everybody here meditating together with you, and you are in a meditative mode, and that's the best way to die, and nobody can ask for a better way to die. Then you start to look from a more objective way and take a step backward and start to actually experience that pain. And it starts to open up another avenue of mindfulness, of experience. And then, since then, you're more capable to actually deal with the pain. Next time you can sit longer. Next time you can sit longer. Next time you can sit longer. You see, when you sit here for like 45 minutes, none of you fidget. But when you first started, remember those days, right? Maria's up. Oh, you remember, yeah. And how you have improved, how you have come along. That's how you actually subdue that. The desire to be pain-free. Yeah? The desire to have no wandering thoughts. The desire to have this kind of aesthetic experience. The desire to see light. The desire to hear this saintly sound. All these, how can you subdue those? Is just to observe. And just to observe. Those desires will start to actually quiet down. Quiet down, quiet down, quiet down. Yeah? Okay? So remember, if you want to really try to subdue desire and lust, it's actually trying to observe and not follow. And remember, many years ago, I said, Mara, I see you. Remember who is Mara? Who is Mara? Who is Mara? Margaret? Maria?
Oh, I was hoping somebody back.
Delusion. Yeah? It could be delusion.
Kind of like the devil, but not.
Yeah. Not the devil. Remember the difference between the devil and the Mara I kept telling you guys before. A devil is somebody.
That's evil.
Yeah, evil.
Promotes evil.
Promotes evil. What about a Mara?
Just wants you
Tempts you.
to stop.
Huh?
Tempts you.
Tempts you to? So that you won't
Practice.
Practice. You follow the path. And you fall back onto your old habits.
It wants to keep you in
that cyclic. Remember the cyclic. The first time I said cyclic, and that was the time you corrected me. Cyclic existence, right? Remember we talk about Mara. Is tempt you to go back constantly into samsara. What is samsara? Rebirth. Yeah, the cycles of rebirth. Cyclic existence. Remember? So Mara is it somebody outside? Within yourself. It's your mind. It's that Mara. And you remember when you wanted to leave the practice, when you wanted to leave your congregation, when you wanted to leave the Dhamma, remember, Mara, I see you. Mara, I see you. You are visible right here in front of my eyes. I won't let you lead me astray. Say that to yourself.
You have, for me, it helped to acknowledge that Mara is me.
Yeah.
Mara isn't something that's trying to not make me do this or whatever.
No.
It's me.
Me.
And it's always going to be a part of me.
Yeah.
And again, we just have to stop.
Yeah. You see, that's why the thought is 200% in here, 0% out there, because it's the Mara that makes you react. Yeah? It's the Mara that makes your life miserable. It's not the outside world that makes you miserable. It's your own Mara. Mara is us, ourselves, right here.
I just read last night in the book Buddha's Words. I was telling Sharon, it was giving the example of the dog on a stake and the dog on the string.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Round and round.
Yeah.
About not people trying to find a beginning to existence and an end or whatever. And basically explain there's no beginning, there's no end.
Beginningless.
Unless you want to get off
the leash. Yeah. You keep running.
It's timeless, it's endless.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You just keep going.
You just keep going.
So it's time to get off.
Yeah. Beginningless. Yeah. That Dhamma is so pretty, so beautiful. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. And it is difficult. The seventh difficulties. It is difficult not to covet what one likes. Is one likes. There is a lot of times it's connected to our habits. One likes to watch TV. One likes to go hiking. One likes to drink. One likes to smoke. Right? So, somebody never eats bananas. I have a friend who has never eaten bananas. So she dislikes bananas so much because she has never eaten the banana. So it's dislike. So it's actually when we see something that we like, and it's very difficult not to fall into the trap of wanting it. Agree? Yeah, it's so difficult. And when we see, when we hear, when we smell, when we taste, when we touch, when we think of what I like and what I don't like, it's very difficult to stop liking or disliking. Really very difficult. And it needs a very, very strong mind. And in this, we can elaborate that to some people who goes to extreme. Oh, I need to keep very slim. I like to be slim. So they go extreme to become anorexic because they like to be slim. So it's so difficult for them to actually give that up, that liking. Or some people just wanted food, keep eating because they like the food. And because that liking is actually a craving. And they cannot put that to a stop themselves. They cannot put that to a stop to not wanting it. Yeah. So it's difficult. It's very difficult. If one doesn't have a mindful mind, it's very, very difficult to actually put that to a stop. And actually, is there really absolute bad or absolute good, absolute right or absolute wrong? There is none. For Tan Sifu, apple is bad. Apple is bad because she's allergic. She's allergic to apple in the last 3 years. Whenever she eats apple, she has all this bloating here. And she wanted so much to eat apples. She said, oh, our apple's so good. I said, you just eat. You won't die. You just have this pain. That's all. But the apple causes so much discomfort in her. But when she wants so much to eat apple, I encourage her that she would just eat. And then she would start. So it's so difficult, really, not to covet to what one likes. Sorry to to use you as an example, but it's such a vivid example. Just give up that apple, right? Just give up that apple. Like coffee, I cannot drink coffee because when I drink, it put me to sleep like a coma, dead. 3 hours, I wouldn't hear anything. I was just like in coma. Though how very much I like coffee. When they drink in the morning, I said, oh, so nice, the coffee. Just observe and smell, just observe and smell. No urge to drink because I know coffee is going to one day maybe kill me. I'm not afraid to die, but I don't want to be killed by coffee. Huh?
Much better to die.
Yeah, sitting there. Or maybe next time I should drink a coffee and then sit in there. Okay, so there is actually no absolute right or wrong, bad or good. It's just that whether it's to our liking or to our disliking, that's all. So if we could try, not to reject nor to welcome, just to be neutral to everything, life could be so easy. Life would be so much easier and so much more peaceful. And you will feel so much at ease because everything is okay. It's okay. I have a phrase that whatever you say is that it's okay, it's good. No problem. It's okay, it's good. I said, can't you have some opinion? I said, oh no, everything is okay, fine. I said, okay, you get on my nerves. Don't you have likes and dislikes? He said, no, everything is okay. No problem. But I think it's actually a very good attitude. He really is no problem to him. Everything is fine. No matter whether you drive this way, you drive that way, everything is fine. It's so nice to be around him because he's so neutral and so easygoing. And he won't point fingers. But he won't say that he is absolutely right. He said, oh, I'm sorry. Maybe this is wrong. Go your way. No problem. It's so wonderful to be next to him. But sometimes it's not wonderful to be next to him because it's so easy to get along, right? Then you can have your own way. Okay, I'll go this way. You will never be considerate. Oh, now I know what to do. Tell him, yeah, you don't pamper us, okay? Because you're spoiling us. Then we will have our own way all the time. Then we'll become more egoistic. That's your problem. I'll go and tell him.
That's really turning it around.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So it's difficult not to covet what one likes. Well, there is a heat heat wave in the city. You know what that is? Pokemon Go. That is really difficult for them to let go, that thing. You know what's the Pokemon Go? Yeah? No? Oh, there's this new app on the cell phone. And they go in the city and to try to find that little thingy. And it pop up. If there's something that pop up, there's a Pokemon. Then they find this little cartoon figurine in the cell phone. I don't know what that is. People told me this, so I tell you this is what it is. I don't know about that game. I'm not going to play, but yes, nuts. But that is what it is right now in the society. They think is fun. They think it's fun. One day when they think when they know that they are actually wasting a lot of their lifetime, precious lifetime.
It's like that egg that you had to look after a few years ago. And you had to answer that egg's need all the time.
Oh, that's 20 some years ago, isn't it? You have to feed the egg and then, yeah. I've never, you've done that before? Or Tamagotchi? Oh, it's called Tamagotchi. Okay, so it's actually, goes very well with this passage, isn't it? Pokemon Go. But don't feel guilty if you have that app, all right? Just play for a little while and see how much craving you trap yourself into, all right? Oh, did I not change this? There's no more work day. So 24th does mean on Sunday, we have a 1 day mindfulness. And then the 30th to August the 6th, then we have the big chanting ceremony in Van Dusen Garden. 31st, we have offering to the sentient beings in this place. So anybody who wants to come, please register as soon as possible because we have to lay out chairs, everything. You don't have to stay for the whole time. You can just come for an experience, okay? And August 7th is a Sanghadana. That means a offering to the Sangha, to the nuns, to the monastics. And the one in the October 9th is the charity banquet in Hong Kong. So remember, there was a mistake. It's 68 for $60. Actually, it's cheap because I've just found out the freight was very expensive. So it's more than $60, but I'm not going to change. So it's a very old age orange peel and with a red bean paste in the center, mooncake. It's a delicacy pastry in the Chinese tradition for Mid-Autumn Festival, which is the 15th of August in the Chinese calendar. I can remember it is somewhere in August too. Oh, September 20 something. Okay, yeah, all right. Okay, all right. So that's it for tonight. And let us dedicate our merits. We bring our attention back to this body. Being mindful. Being mindful. Being mindful of the constant flux of changes within this physical existence. That's the truth, that's the nature of our existence. With this experience at the back of our mind, we allow this good thought to arise. For all the benefits that I gather from studying, hearing the words of the Buddha, may I share with all beings, visible, invisible, human, non-human, far or near, big or small. May they be free of enmity. May they be free of miseries. May they start to live in a world with warmth, brightness, and experience love and peace and be happy. May more and more people will open up their hearts to encounter, to listen, to study, and to practice the words of the Buddha, and help themselves to come out of their own entanglements, of their own sufferings, dukkha, and be happy and be peaceful. Good, everybody. Good night. And see you on Sunday if you have registered. Otherwise, see you next Tuesday. Okay. Good night.